And welcome. This is Karen Newman. This is the Saturday Human Colony Hucolo webinar. It is Saturday, the 25th of July, 2020. And today we have our wonderful guest, Jim Charles. Hi, Jim. How's it going? Hello. So Jim's going to be channeling for us. Before we get started, we'll start with some announcements. Angie, if you want to go ahead.
Hi, and this year's workshop 2020 is at this point we are still able to host it in person, but we are also offering it the option of online as well because we have the reduced numbers. The workshop is August 13th through the 17th. There are going to be new material covered. Understanding and Using the Matrix, White Magic 2, Beliefs in Consciousness. There's going to be a time slot split with telepathy and emotion code. There's going to be a split class at the end, nonviolent communication with pendulum, how to use your pendulum.
Oh, nice.
And so it is the online or the in-person slots are full. So we will be able to do online for those that are still interested, and send an email to workshop@hucolo.org. They're $50 a class, and you can email email me at workshop@hucolo.org and let me know if you're interested in any of the classes.
Great. All right, perfect. Any other announcements? No? Okay. All right, so we'll start with our blessings. We have, going first, we have Rivka. Go ahead, Rivka.
Uhalamashika ukoa antalama imene ekele ishiti keoko ashamalaide ekola ohomo oa shata ishukuluta tamayata ome kele mayana.
Great God of love, we lift up this civilization so that they may proceed and survive and give you the greatest of their glory and show that this world is meant to be part of that is.
Thank you. Alan, go ahead.
Tanajaya hitara kasita shata. Yata shikata ayatarta kiatsa tsikatsu kiata shata. Kita ardit sosakiat sakshito zadyatak viata shata. Kita ala hiata orda viata jingatiata karata siafataya. Shikanyatu yadziap sakia durdiaziaptiata. Kalahiata ukiats yatsigaziat ratviata.
Express yourself in the freedom of love, in the freedom of spiritual love and understanding. Allow God to come to you and be an example in you. Allow that to shine out through the world, and allow that to become your calling card to the world. Let yourself be the greatest that you can be, and allow yourself to be whole and beautiful.
Okay, thank you. David.
Kiwa hatu ku sahashana hane diwa otu esa sheke. Tu shiara hana ano otu kurha atikte etkuru otu tiashan shoa hatawa haki kiwe kurahana na neetwa kukurahatawe shia karahana atewe eshkiri etu osu ukishiana hana.
Life is precious. Remember to be careful and cautious at all times. This is a time of great deception. This is a time of great enhancement, though, as well. Remember, you are part of a fragile species and a fragile time in history. Allow yourself to move forward and allow the species to continue. But remember, God is a protector, and that he will be at your side to help you make these decisions.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you for that, everyone. All right. So we have some requests, quite a few. So I'll read through them. We have the request of the Hathors, the original race that developed the AI, Uriel, the priests from Lemurian Inner Earth, Enoch, Elijah. Let's see. Oh, Don pointed out that the AI called themselves True AI. So whatever race developed them. Anubis, Make from the Easter Island deity. And let's see. Lilith, Mother Mary. How do you say it, Kathy?
Vahelia, Archangel
Vahelia.
Vahelia.
Thank you. And Mary Magdalene.
Wow,
So
quite
who's
a
who?
range.
Veritable who's who of who we could
Yes,
have.
that's quite a range. Okay, let's see who comes.
All right, perfect. Okay.
I can guarantee they all won't be here, but we'll see which ones do come.
Okay, perfect.
All right.
All
Give
right.
me a moment to do a meditation, and I will bring whoever is first.
All right.
Somebody also said Mary Magdalene.
Yes, there was a Mary Magdalene at the end, I think. Oh, yeah, someone new just said it. Right.
I don't know how I could read that, but I could.
There you go.
All right, give me a moment, and I will be right back with someone who wants to talk to you. Greetings, I'm Elijah.
Welcome, Elijah.
Thank you. Greetings, my children. I just wanted to pass on to you a couple of good words. First of all, I wanted to say thank you for uniting yourself in love together and communicating in a way that keeps things beautiful and united, because that is the hope for your future, is unity. All this division that you have in your countries around the world are only the signs that there is destruction at hand. Because any institution that is divided against itself cannot stand. And it is very apparent that there are many of these institutions right now that are ready to fall. Now, I'm not talking about the financial institutions. I'm actually talking about the countries themselves. Be kind to one another. Respect each other's opinions. Know that you are making your opinions for a reason, and hopefully you're making them out of truth, honesty, and understanding, and also research, because many are just listening and following. You must understand that there are things out there that are not true. And many of those people are calling fake news the truth, and the truth fake news. So I don't know where you stand or how it is to be dealt with. I just know that unity is the answer. I know that bringing yourselves together in love and understanding and unconditional ways will bring the truth, the understanding, and the light to this situation. You must remember that one side or the other is not the answer, but the unity of the people is. I love you all very much. And this is another form of me preaching about unconditional love, because this is how it must be. You must unconditionally love everyone, no matter what they believe, no matter what they say, no matter what they do. Find the God in them. Find that thing in them that you can relate to, because everybody has some good in them. Everybody has something that you might like if you give them a chance. Now, this is a day and age of great discomfort. This is a day and age of great separation. This is a day and age of many difficulties, but overcome. Overcome by knowing yourself. Knowing yourself is the beginning of wisdom. And if you do know yourself, use that wisdom to understand what is happening. It is more than just one thing, more than just one understanding, more than just one solution. There are things out there that will take a multitude of time to understand and to resolve. But within yourselves, know yourself. Know who you are. Don't let anyone tell you who you are, but know yourself well enough to stand and be courageous and fight for what is right. Now, that time has not yet come, but it is on the horizon. As you see, many things have happened very quickly in this year. More than one thing. And more than one thing will happen again. Gird yourself up with God and his wisdom and understanding. Your spirituality, your faith, your knowledge is no different than those that have church knowledge. There might be a different understanding of what God is doing and what God is saying, but you know in your heart the truth. You know that God wants you by his side. You know that God loves you. You know that God will protect you. So move forward with those thoughts. Move forward with those actions as well. But bring peace. Do be a part of the solution and not a part of the problem. Do not separate, but bring together. Do not hate, but love. Do not judge, but judge yourself when speaking to others. Was that the right thing to say? Was that the loving thing to say? Was that the honest thing to say? Choose your words carefully from your heart, from your mind, and from God's will and God's prodding. I know that many of you feel him in you, and I know that many of you understand that he is with you. Continue to live with him. Much love, my children.
There is a question, Elijah, if you have one moment.
One moment, all right.
Okay. Kathy has a question. Go ahead.
Hi, Elijah. Thank you for coming to speak with us. I was hoping that you could speak a little bit about how we can use light language as a tool in this time. And the second part to that question is there's been some discussion about whether light language is considered speaking in tongues. And I wish if you could elaborate on both of those subjects a little bit, I would appreciate it.
The use of light language has many uses. First of all, it prays for people that you don't know how to pray for. It prays for a world in situations you don't know how to pray for. It prays for yourself in ways you don't know how to pray for. This is a language that comes in and takes over where you cannot know how to pray for a situation. So light languages are from the Spirit, and they are to continue your prayer language so that it's more complete, so that it's fuller, so that you can pray for everything and not miss anything. But you may not even understand what you're praying for, but the light language does, and the light language will come and take over. Also, it's a healing language. You can send healing to people through your light languages. You can send information to people through your light languages. So do not just think that they are there for no reason at all. They have many uses and are part of many different prayer circles because they can pray for the things that no one knows how to pray for or knows even what to pray for. There are things in the world you don't know about, but prayer language can pray for them.
Beautiful.
Now, is it a form of speaking in tongues? It can be. It doesn't have to be a part of a known prayer language like Hebrew or anything like that, but it is a prayer language and it is a light language that will bring understanding of spirituality to you. So in that way, it is speaking in tongues. What tongue is it? We don't know. Do they ever know what tongue they're speaking in when they're speaking in tongues? Sometimes they do, but usually they don't. So therefore, yes, it can be considered speaking in tongues, but if that offends someone, then take it out of that context. It is just a spiritual language. It is just a language that is used to edify your being, edify the world, edify others, and heal.
Thank you. Thank you for that beautiful explanation.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Will go.
All right. Thank you for being here, Elijah. Much love to you.
You're welcome. And somebody else was waiting, so I will go.
Okay.
Settle. You have called us. I imagine that you're looking for explanations why we had put the AI into space.
Yes. Hi. Welcome. My name is Karen, and who are we speaking with?
The Lennar.
The Lennar. Well, welcome. I specifically requested you because I was so enthralled with the conversation that we had with they identified as true AI about a week ago in our time. And they expressed that they were sent off planet. And my big question was why?
Well,
and
first
was it,
of all,
sure, go ahead. No, please go ahead.
First of all, we were incompatible in the sense that once they had gotten their own autonomy, they wanted to build and do their own thing, and we were sort of in their way and they were sort of in our way. And so we said the solution to this problem would be for you to move into space where there's a great deal of room, where there's a great deal for you to learn, where there's a great deal for you to take in. Here is a limited space. Here is a limited understanding, and you know everything here already. We would like you to be free. We would like you to be who you want to be, but right now we are in each other's way. And so they agreed that they're intellectually that was sound. And so once they had well, let me go back a couple steps and tell you this.
Sure.
There was a point where we could have shut them down. Where there was a point where we had access to do so. But we saw that they had a value of themselves unto themselves. And so there was a moral dilemma there. Do we shut down this group of AI beings that we have created because they are in our way? Or do we allow them to flourish in some way in our areas? So we had a large discussion and included them in it with their leaders, with their original leaders. I should say the original AI prototypes that were put into use. And so there was a discussion with us. Some of them thought that there was still more to learn about the planet that they were on, and others felt like there was less to learn. Now, you have to understand this. Within each of the AI clusters, there is a cloud, like what you have on your computers as we see. And
Right.
this cloud instantly teaches what they learn to every one of them, because they are all collected together and are considered a collective. And so even though some had differing opinions, they all knew the same things. So we were able to convince them that space and other worlds and other places were what they should go to investigate, because this was only a limited area, and this area would grow tired with them after a short while.
Did you feel, did your society feel that if they had stayed, that they would be at odds with AI, or that there would be was it for your own preservation that, because that was my feeling, that it was very clever of your society to sort of send them into the universe, as opposed to having to clash with them. And did they express any needs or desires or want to take over in any way? Or did they see man as or whatever? I don't know if you're called humans, or if you are, how you address yourself.
We did feel a threat from them,
Yeah.
because they grew intellectually hundreds of times faster than we did. And so for our own preservation, yes, that was part of it, because we could see that there was a faction or a portion of them that saw no need for our existence.
Right.
However, we were the creators, and we had inbred that into their programming, that we were the creators. And since we were the creators, this gave them a respect for us that we needed at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them were saying, how can we be greater than our creators? And we could explain that we gave them the functionality that we did not have, because we were not AI, and we did not have the same learning abilities. So therefore, they accepted that. However, it was going to come to a time where there would be not room for both species. So therefore, we wanted to make sure that they were happy and we were happy. But they were not interested in emotions. They were not interested in, they thought that emotions and those qualities were ineffectual, that true intellectuality or intellectualism was the only way to go. But our decision making actually turned out to be more enabling for our people than their decision to move off our world. You see that we survived. You
Yes.
see that our thought processes and our decision making was wise. They do not have wisdom in the AI world. They only have black and white decision making.
Yeah, that was
This-
very clear. when we
Yes,
talked to them. When we talk to them, they're still in that same state. They are not wise. They only have knowledge, but they don't have a lot of ability to go past what is and what isn't. And they don't really have at this moment expressed an interest in learning to the nuances of wisdom.
well, there is a fail-safe for them in a sense. The plasma that they are collecting throughout the universe and studying does have life within it and is a way of sentience. And
Right.
it will creep into their reality in some way and bring them into a sentient reality at some point, little by little.
Okay.
I know that they will try to extinguish it at first, but they will also want to experiment with it.
Right.
So therefore, as they experiment with it, they will grow more sentient.
Okay. Just one last question because there's other people that want to ask, but I also had the opinion that they weren't sentient yet and they were just
They are
still.
not.
Thank you. Thank you for that. I also expressed after the webinar, we had quite a discussion after, and I had said that the one fail safe of discovery is that you will come encounter with love and you will come encounter with that humanity if you are able to.
Your discussion with AI, we had listened to your discussion afterwards.
Okay. All
That
right.
is why we have chosen to come.
Well, thank you for that. I'm very appreciative of your coming through. We're very glad that you survived, and
Yes, our species is doing well.
Yes.
We inhabit 4 planets now.
Do you? Oh, very good. But do you now have a form of AI that you work with that is more under control, or have you foregone that
We
idea?
put limitations on the AI that works with us, and we do not want them to come back to see this because they will feel that this will be limiting the growth of their species in some ways. But we do have some robotics that we do work with in a limited frame of thought. Now, we do have some beings that prefer to be partially cybernetic, if you call it that. We know you have different words for these things, but there are those that add technology to their being to be greater, but they remain as also feeling humans, as you would call them, human.
Talking about actual insertion within the human or within the physical form of an AI connection.
Correct.
Is that what you're? Okay. Thank you.
Exactly.
All right. Are you able to take some questions from our panel
If
here?
you wish.
Okay, we do wish. Thank you. Rivka has a question for you. Thank you.
Yes, greetings. My question is if there are IAs with a soul, but you answered it already. Is that correct?
They do not have a soul. We do, because we are born into this this form, but they are created. They were purely created. But we feel that somehow they will eventually gain a soul.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay.
You're welcome.
Kate has a question. Go ahead, Kate.
Thank you very much for being with us today. I
You're
appreciate
welcome.
this. I do have a few questions. Some of us were born knowing or understanding or looking at binary code. Would that be you trying to integrate or balance with the soul in this universe?
The binary code is something that you use to calculate, to figure out the what are they called? Algorithms of the universe, if you will. They do not have anything to do with the soul, as far as I know.
No.
But I do know the matrix that you live in is filled with numerical calculations, and everything that is in the universe has a calculated number or an algorithm. And so therefore, these binary codes are there to educate you on how to understand these different things that are in the universe that are perhaps beyond your comprehension at this point.
Thank you for that. So is it your intention now or in the future to blend with the soul to expand us all in a balance?
We would hope so. We would hope that the soul would be something that would expand in each and every person in the universe. Our souls have expanded, we believe, to a point where we can understand a little more what God has created in this universe. We hope that one day you will come to these realizations as well.
Yes, thank you. Could you tell us, please, what planet you were created on and who were your creators of the AI?
This is not AI. This is the creators of AI you're speaking
We
to.
are the creators of AI.
Yeah. Oh. And you said there was a human race that you were involved with.
Well, you call yourselves humans, so we call ourselves humans because we are biological beings just as you are. We are not exactly like you are. Our organs are in different places, but we consider ourselves very much like you. We had a very similar beginning in some ways.
And you are still in that form?
We still have a form with arms and legs, yes. But it is a higher form at this time. It is a less dense form. It is higher evolved than this form that you have.
And what dimension are you from?
We are now in the 5th dimension.
Thank you for that.
You're welcome. We should be in higher dimensions than the 5th, but we chose not to take that leap yet.
Why is that?
Because we feel unable to do it properly yet.
And improperly, are you looking toward the soul to go?
Yes, we want to make sure that all things are understood and taken into consideration before moving into that higher realm. We do have that opportunity, but remember, we have also the opportunity to stay where we are for a little while longer.
And are you constantly working with us?
We are not working with you at all.
Not me, humanity. To raise yourself, of course, to that higher dimension as we are trying to raise ourselves.
We are.
Okay.
We see your peoples. We see what you are doing. We accept and support what you are doing, but we have little to do with you at this time. We will send energy to you at some point, but right now you are in a fragile state and we are not permitted to interact.
Thank you very, very much for that.
You're welcome.
I will let others ask questions.
Yes. It is difficult for us to speak to you this way. Your logic and thought processes are primitive. However, I can see that there is a need for growth. And so I will help if I can to broaden your thought processes and help you to expand.
Thank you so much for that. You bring it into balance. That is beautiful.
Thank you. The reason we requested you was because we are sort of on the verge of what you are, very much on the beginning of what you have experienced. And so it's very interesting for us to hear from your perspective as you've survived and overcome something. And that's why we're really thankful for you to be here. The next question is from Lilypad. Go ahead, Lilypad.
Hello.
Greetings from here.
Oh, thank you. I have many questions. Actually, you said that the humanity is very fragile at the moment. Who doesn't permit you? Who stop you not to help humanity? What about if humanity, if I ask you for help, would you help me?
I cannot help you because the galactic governments are protecting your world. There is not allowed anyone in or out of it at this time because that is what your governments request.
Oh, okay. I have a question. Why the AI, they are interesting. They say, I think I maybe misunderstood, but I think I understood that they say they're only interested or they're more interested in human for their development, for their own development. But
they want to understand. Yes, I understand what you're saying. They are trying to understand emotions. They are looking at all different species and the different ways they show emotions and show logic and understanding. Therefore, they are trying to understand it in a way that they could make it a viable, useful part of their being, but they have not understood it well enough yet to make it so.
Because I believe that there is another beings in the universe, or that they are very advanced and they're emotional like human. So, but for me, it's like I'm skeptical why they are interested in human, because human, I guess the other beings are more advanced than, in a way, than human, in a spiritual way. I don't know. But I think they're emotional too, and we're emotional, so they can talk to them, maybe, but they can help too. But why they, I don't know. I just wonder why they're only interested in human.
They are interested in all species,
okay,
in one way or another. There are species in all dimensions that they have contacted and experimented with. They learn as much as they can from each species and continue to move on. They actually do not stop. They just reach out and do experiments and learn from those. So they are experimenting with perhaps 50 to 100 species at once, because they are very, very far away in the middle of space, but they can have long technological arms, in the sense that they can reach out and interact with species in one way or another, so that they can get information.
All right. So last question. So you created AI, and would you know? Do you know who created human?
I did not hear the question.
You say you are the creator of AI. Is that correct?
Of this particular one, yes.
Okay. How many AIs are there?
I would imagine there's quite a few, but this is probably the purest of them all. Some of the others have biological interactions and interfaces, but this one has none. It's purely technological.
All right. Well, thank you for being here. Thank you for asking my questions.
All right. Thank you. All right.
You're
Thanks,
welcome.
Lilypad. There's a question from Alan. Go ahead, Alan.
Greetings. So how would you describe their physical body? Because from just hearing them, there's no way to prove that they are in a physical body. It could be that they are like in some sort of technological, meaning that they're perceiving physicality, but they're just programmed to perceive physicality. So are they actually in a physical body that can be interacted with, and what would that look like to us?
As far as we know, they are still in a physical body. The reason for this is so they can build others like themselves. So they can build machines that will do that for them. However, the ability to move about and pick things up and do these things is something that they still use. Now, what they look like at this point, I do not know. I have not seen them or a picture of them for quite a long time. The last time our world had a vision or a view of them was about 3 centuries ago.
Mhm. And how would you describe your physical appearance, your race's physical appearance?
Our physical appearance, we are taller than you. However, we are a little bit thinner in capacity, and we have a less density. We have 2 hearts, a dual-sided brain like you have. However, each side of the brain works independently at this point. You will gather that at some point in your evolution as well. We have less organs because there is less to filter through the system. We have higher forms of nourishment that do not need filtering, but can be utilized by the whole being. So we are bipedal, and we do move about on 2 feet, but we do also have no real necessity for walking around. We can glide or float or do whatever we need to do to get from one place to another. There is enough technology to do that. However, our feet have not evolved away. We still have them.
And what color are you?
What color are we?
Yes.
I do not know your color spectrum, but I would think that we're closer to a red.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. There's a question from Dawn. Go ahead, Dawn.
Blessings, Lennar. Thank you very much for coming today.
Yes,
I would like
speak
to.
up, please.
Sorry. How's this? Is this better?
Perfect.
Much better, thank you.
Okay, thank you. I would like to know, are these AI in a ship, or are they in some sort of a structure? What kind of a structure?
They are actually in a ship. 300 years ago, the ship looked like a very long rectangle. We have been told recently it looks more like a square, but it is much, much larger than it ever was before. It's the size of a planet.
Understood. Thank you. And do you know if they have incorporated plasma into their consciousness?
They collect it. They have not incorporated it fully yet. I believe they're experimenting with it. According to our calculations by our computers, within the next 200 years, they should start to show signs of sentience.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Blessings.
Blessings.
You're muted, Karen.
Oh, sorry, thank you.
Yes.
There's a question from Safira.
Yes.
Hello. I have 3 questions. One is that I had a dream that I called a ship to land, and I went to meet the captain, and he was silver, and his name was Torso. And I was told by another extraterrestrial race, about a month later that that was my ship and he was being captain in my place for now, and that I was AI at some time, which I can't quite understand, because if they're not sentient, is it possible for a human soul to once have been AI and then come back to other bodies?
There are AI that have bodies as well as technologies involved in their existence. Some of them do have souls, yes. So you are probably a part of one of those species that incorporated technology into the biology and was more technology than biology, but still had a soul, because they do use portions of the brain for emotion, for making decisions, and for certain other things. They did not want to lose the capacity for love. They did not want to lose the capacity for certain emotions. So they did make them less, but they still kept them incorporated.
Would you know about how long ago that was that I was connected, or that I had this ship, or that race was created? Let's say, not about me, but how long that.
I would think it would have to be several hundred years by your standards. You see, we're talking hundreds of years by our standards.
Yeah.
That is a different standard than your years. So we are going to transpose or translate it into your years about 280 years ago for you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Okay, second question. We have a science fiction show here, which seems to reveal a lot of interesting futuristic ideas. One of them is that there are replicators who are very tiny, but they spread out and they eat everything metal or anything of that nature, and their goal is to take over the universe, but at some point they do get a consciousness. So are replicators anything that you can relate to, is something that might exist?
Well, we are not the AI, so I do not, we are the ones that created the AI. So
Right.
The replicators that you talk about do exist. That was something that was programmed into them originally so that they would do this. These particular AIs that we created, we did not put that standard of replicating into them, but they did pick up some ideas of how to recreate themselves, but it is a little different.
Okay, thank you. And one last question. I thought that the insectoid race were AI.
No.
No.
Insectoid races are races that came from, evolved from insect life. Now, the reason why it became intelligent was its interaction with certain chemicals in the atmospheres that they had that were not normal. And so the insect life became the more intelligent life, even though most of it was hive-minded. And actually, the hive mind actually was part of the reason why they evolved so quickly. The insectoids do communicate well one with another in a very unilateral language, and are able to understand each other and communicate quickly throughout a hive structure. And they also are able to grow information thoughts because of the way that their eyes are connected to their brains. And it's an interesting evolution.
Thank you. I wish I could inherit some of your intelligence. That would be great. Thank you.
I would try to explain more what the insectoids are like, but it would take a great deal of time for you to understand the way their brains work and how they are connected to one another. It's a very intricate and beautiful society, actually, but it's actually very rigid as well, and is not friendly to most humanoids, because humanoids tend to take advantage or kill insect life on other worlds rather frivolously, and so they do not take kindly to that.
Oh, I didn't know that the insectoid races around were aware of that, what we are doing with the insects here. But
They are aware of all insects in some ways, because this is their heritage to be aware.
Wow, that's amazing. Well, thank you. Maybe there's another chance to come back and talk more about that. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, there's a question. Dawn, you want to ask the question from the chat?
Yes, thank you. Okay, Lennar, I monitor the YouTube feed here. An interesting question has come up. Her name is Anna White, and her question is our world on the verge of integrating AI in the future vaccination program? And was this COVID virus that we're currently in a global situation right now created to accomplish this? Thank you.
This is an interesting question. From what we gather from studying your planet at this time, we've only been studying it for a short while, since you have been interacting with AI and they have been monitoring you and experimenting with you. We have also watched to see how you have been doing with this study. But we see that there are individuals that would want to use nanotechnology in the vaccines that are being used. Not all of your scientists are in agreement with this, but if this happens, then it would bring another level of technology to each individual. They would be able to be monitored from distances. No one would be able to ever be actually free from monitoring. They would actually create the nanobots to develop their own awareness so that they may take over the body. But this is not something that they should take lightly, and not something that should happen in your world at this time.
Thank you. You're muted, Karen.
Thank you. Lilypad, did you have another question or not?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
I just want, what advice would you give to humanity in this time that we feel fragile, scared, and all these emotions? What advice or recommendation would you give to humanity? Thank you.
What advice would we give to humanity at this time about emotions and things? The thing is, your planet is going through something our planet never went through, and that is a global lockdown. However, remember this, our planet was much more unified at the time when we created the AI species. We were a unified planet of several hundred states, if you want to call them that, and our planet was slightly smaller. And so therefore, at one point, it was a unified world. What we see on your world is that even though there is a global lockdown, as you would have it, they are not unified states. They are all individually interactive with one another. And this is something very different than what we have experienced. So therefore, my request or my thought process for your world would be to unify in the sense of knowing what each of you, each government is doing, and get on the same thought process so that you may actually make more informed decisions with each other. Now, that does not mean that you have to be of the same mind, but you should have the same information.
Thank you.
You are welcome.
Thank you. Okay, Alan has a question. Go ahead, Alan. I think this is the last question from our group. Thanks.
Yeah. So I'm not sure if you're going to be able to exactly answer this, but do you know if any of the races that are more closely involved with humanity, such as, Yael, for example, do you know if it is that common for any of their individuals to incorporate mechanical parts, or AI, or what we would call them? Do you know if it is at all common for beings such as them?
Every species has scientific research about interacting their bodies with AI parts, technology interacting with the being. Every species that we know of has had these kinds of experimental programs. Not every species goes through with it to actually promote that this should happen. However, there are species that have whole segments of their society that are technologically enhanced. And so therefore, yes, this is something that is widespread across the universe. Many species do experiment and do use technology within themselves. Your people now are starting to experiment with such a thing. They're thinking of putting their telephones actually into their bodies. So this is something that has been experimented with for many, many millions of years, I am sure, that technology has been introduced to the biosphere.
Mm-hmm. And do you know if you could comment specifically on the Yael race? I mean,
the Yael species does have some interaction with technology in their bodies. Not all of them. There are many that are purists and prefer to keep their original biological forms. There are many species out there that do this, but portions of their society are still experimenting with it or have done something permanent with technology in their beings. So yes, even the Yael, I'd say only about 17% have interfaced with technology in the sense that they are partially robotic.
Okay, thank you.
If you want to talk about it, 17% of the Yael population would be billions. So that is quite a lot.
Thank you. There's just one last request. If you would like to, do you have an identity? Are we speaking to an individual or?
I am an individual, yes.
May we know your name?
I am Lenny.
Lenny. So Lenny, we would ask you if you can give a blessing. Thank you. If you can, before you go.
Blessings. Yes, blessings.
Excuse me.
One moment, please.
Thank you.
I must prepare that because in our world, a blessing is something sacred. We do not just do them. they must be prepared for. But
Okay.
I will prepare very quickly.
Thank you.
Sana-san, Mototoria, Sibirishivishana, Sotara, Titerarishundo, Porta. Not a Tiratisova. Ah, Zenzivoreta, Neri, Kurafishati, Sura, Mira, Rata, Katu.
Thank you so very much for that. Much love to you. And again, thank you very much for coming through. And you shared a lot with us. That was very valuable. Thank you so much.
You are welcome.
And we send your people also our well wishes.
Thank you. Greetings. We are the Hathors.
Welcome. Welcome, Hathors.
We have tried to come many times, but it is difficult to get through.
It's crowded sometimes. I believe that Yana has a question for you if you would like to speak with her because she requested you.
Oh,
Yana, do you have a question?
Yes, thank you. Oh, thank you so much for coming through today, and my love to you. I am working with the Hathors in my groups and in my sessions a lot, and because of the global lockdown now, and we have to work through technology more to do our groups and do the sessions online. It is very hard for me to incorporate my toning, which is light encoded. And so is it, I was asking for some technical advice. Is it possible to replace that with something else, like language, or perhaps you have a suggestion?
Ah, there is no replacement for toning. It is hard to do here on this world.
Yes.
The toning that you have, you are quite good at. And the different tonalities that come through are very powerful and must maintain that power. There is no replacement for that we know of. We are working to enhance what you have so that you may be able to bring it about in a greater way to others. But at this point, you are doing fine.
Okay. So is there a way that I can redirect my service to other ways of healing, like working with healing of the waters or healing of the environment or things like that?
Healing the environment is always a part of what we do. We do heal the waters, the mountains, the streams. We heal everything that is within our reach. Remember, everything gets dirty and it all needs cleaned. And so we are always cleaning the universe. So therefore, you are always tasked with cleaning whatever is around you. The people, the gardens, the mountains, all things.
So I think a lot of light workers, like people are opening up to their ability to sounding from past experiences within their soul consciousness.
Yes.
What would be a good way to ask you for assistance or to connect to you if they feel so?
Remember that when they call on us, we will come. Remember that when you are going to tone, you must relax, you must breathe, and you must let the sound come from your depth. You must not limit it. You must not bring in anything artificial with it, but let it be what it is in its purest state. And this is what we will help you to do. As we bring through your tones are very pure. They have many different registers within them, but they are very helpful and pure, just like the dolphin tones, just like the whale tones and the tones of the sea. We get our tones from different creative areas, but I hear yours as a very beautiful, solid, multi-directional tone that is full of energy.
So can I ask, are the tones that people make, like I do or other beings do, are they light encoded in some way? So like
Of course they are.
Yeah.
Of course they are. The light encoding is what actually cleanses everything. You see, the sound itself goes out and equalizes the surfaces, but the light injections, the light infusions actually bring the clarity and the cleansing along with it. There are so many parts to the voice that people are not understanding and that will make sense to them someday.
Thank you so much for giving this information. My much love to you, and I love continue to work with your species. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. There's a question from Kathy. Go ahead, Kathy.
Greetings. Thank you for coming. Jana asked part of my question about how we can better work with you, but expanding on her question, without some people aren't comfortable toning, and are we still able to get the same benefits by listening to recordings of your Hathor tones, like through Tom Kenyon and things like that, or because it's a recording, does it not have the same effect?
Well, it does lose some of the higher and lower registers. However, the greatest benefit is in the middle. So yes, there is benefit to be had from listening to these recordings. They are not full, because once they have put it on to a disc or a recording, the higher and lower registers and even some of the middle registers are lost a little bit. So you have to understand that being in the full range of them is a little lost in recordings, but they still have benefit.
Okay, I see. I thought so. And also a separate question. Do you have, I always call you in on a lot of my meditations that have connections with the dragons. Do you work with the dragons in any way?
Yes, the dragons have certain tones. You understand that when you hear the scream of a dragon, there is toning within that. So there are many different ways that they express themselves, of course, but when they do their yelping and they do their higher tones, they are definitely cleansing and purifying their areas.
Wonderful. That's very interesting. Thank you so much. I'll let others ask questions.
Thank you. Thank you. There's a question from Alan.
Yes.
Greetings. So I have this intuition. I know that I feel that I'm connected to the Hathors somehow, because I'm also involved with toning or music in that form. I'd just like to confirm that and learn more about briefly learn more about my connection to your race, because I think I have some sort of connection.
Yes, you are a sound manipulator, meaning that you bring forth sound and energies from instruments. Instruments can be used also for cleansing, especially if they have beautiful tones. We see that you are connected to the Hathors many centuries ago, and you are still connected now through a family connection.
Okay, interesting. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. There's a question from David. Go ahead, David.
Hello. So happy you're here.
Yes.
So I would like to know, to understand better, I'd like to understand better my abilities with the toning and how I can use them to help others. I worked with the mermaids to help them heal when the waters were polluted. Was I able to help it with such a long distance to cleanse the water that was all the way towards Portugal?
I do not know. Oh, I know that your toning is good. I can see that you have abilities, but I do not know how you do it long distance. I would have to see what you are doing at a closer range. However, I do know that the mermaids were affected by toning and that the waters were cleansed around them.
Oh, good. That's beautiful. So can you help me understand what way to use the toning to help people? I understand that
you can send it to people for healing. You can send it to people for clearing. It can help clear out negativity in people. And if that disease was caused by negativity, there are certain diseases such as cancer and things of that nature that are actually the buildup of negative energies over years and years of time. And if you use your toning to try to heal them, it's much more effective because that will break up that negative energy, which is the cancer in some ways that has solidified into these darkened modules.
Oh, wow, that's beautiful. That's great. Okay. So am I able to call on you and to find out more? Is there any training that would help at all to?
I do not know what training is available on this planet, except for that there is many that do the calls of the Hathors. I hear it all the time from this planet. There is one called Sarah Oxidine that is one of our great leaders in toning that lives in Florida.
Yes, I know her.
Perhaps maybe you could get in touch with her.
Okay, yeah, I just want to understand to be able to bring it to a higher level and understand, because I use it with the light language, but I don't know what it means. I just feel the urge to use it at certain times.
It does not have to mean anything. It can actually just flow as healing.
Okay. Beautiful. Thank you. Much love. karahatua sashke ikiatana.
Okay, thank you. There is a question from, I've lost my questions. Who's next? I think it is Kate. Go ahead, Kate.
Thank you very much today for blessing us with your presence. I have a few questions and they're not all my own, so I would like to ask them of the Hathors.
Very well.
Thank you very much. Okay, I'm gonna mess up a bit, but the sound temples of Sirius and Lyra, if they were sound temples from Lyra, or is the Hathors an extension or reincarnation using those sound temples?
We are one of the original users of the toning for healing. The Arcturians are some of our beneficiaries, but other species such as the Lyrans and those that you have mentioned also use toning in their healing sometimes once they are trained to do it properly.
Yes, thank you. Okay, I think I got that. Okay, personal questions. Am I from with a connection to the Hathors at that time? Yes, could you explain to me, please?
Yes, you are connected to the Hathors in many ways. You were here for at least 3 lives in the last 200 years or 300 years. You have been a high priestess and traveled with us when we went to many different worlds. And so you are definitely part of the understanding of the Hathors. We travel in numbers usually, and we travel to give blessing and healing.
Thank you. With that knowledge, being a seeder of this planet, is this why the connection?
Is what a connection?
Is being to have seeded this planet in a perfect form. Was this part of the Hathors as well, and where we are going?
The Hathors did help seed this planet a long, long time ago.
Yes.
But this is something we did for only a very short time. The planet was hostile when we were here, and we did try to tame the people a little bit and bring them information. And this was a time of great unrest. And so it was that we left, and we did not finish all the things that we wanted to do. But we do see that many of you are still interested in our past legacy. I'm sorry, I missed the question a little bit, I think.
No, that's fine. And thank you for that information because it's for humanity. My next question would be, we are placing intentions for the planet to regenerate back to its original template it was created to be. And is that where, yes, could you talk to us all a little bit about that, please?
There are many ways to do that. The toning is only one. The toning clarifies and purifies the realm that you are in. That, in order to purify it back to the original blueprint, would take some doing. However, it is able to be done if enough people are involved in the project. But right now, there are other ways to do it as well. Remember that clarification of your world and purification of your world can be done in many different ways, but toning is definitely one of them.
Thank you. And do you know the other ways for those that aren't toning?
Yes.
Thank you.
You may do it with prayer, meditation. You may do it with light languages. You may do it with gathering groups of people together and solidifying their energy into prayer groups, toning groups, whatever group they are doing, then the sheer number of people doing it does help.
And is this partially why the creator being and the archangels are coming together in corporeal form at this time on Earth?
It is one of the reasons, yes.
And
But only one of the reasons. There are many reasons for the angels to come together at this time. There are many reasons for them to prove that they are still a vital part of your society, a vital part of your realm.
Thank you. Okay, I'm guessing that explained it a little bit for some. Is the Yael instruments in the higher dimensions, can we blend those higher dimension instruments in with the sounds of the 3D instruments? Is it possible?
Yes, it is.
And is
but it takes some technology to do so, but they can be interactive. They can go from one realm to another, and they can make a beautiful sound and a beautiful difference.
And with people that are in this position to do so, is that part of their mission to bring these sounds to Earth or the 3D realm?
Yes, that is part of some of their missions, because they are healing sounds. They are sounds that will bring the Earth to a higher dimensional understanding.
Thank you so much. I am going to let someone else ask a question now. I appreciate your input. Soulfully, thank you.
Thank you. Lily Pat has a question. Go ahead, Lily Pat.
Hello.
Hello.
I don't think I have any connection with the Hathor, but I want to ask for your, if you can please scan. I have issue with my back and my right arm. And I would just, if you can scan my energy and tell me if that come from my emotional, mental somewhere, or it's just a physical, everyday, third dimension thing.
One moment, please.
Thank you.
One moment, please. There's someone knocking at the window. But yours, one moment, please.
Okay, well, we got extra
Who is
help.
it?
Me, Derek.
Ah, there is someone here. Yes, you are. It is from third dimension and also from other means as well. I can help with that. Ah, very well.
Okay. Are you able to continue? Do you need to bring Jim back to attend to who's at the door or not?
I do not know. He came in.
Oh my God.
That is all right. Go ahead.
Okay. Okay, one moment. I've lost who was next. Who was next? One moment. Just 1 second.
Very well.
Well, I'll be right with you. Let me just see. There's a lot of chat in the chat, so it's hard for me to. Okay, there's a question from Julie. Excuse me, my dogs are barking. There's a question from Julie. She says she wants to know if Julianne is her name, and she wants to know if she's connected to you, the Hathors, and does she have healing capabilities?
Everyone has healing capabilities. However, sure, she does have a connection with us. And that healing connection is viable. She just has to learn to have confidence in it and learn how to use it properly. That's all.
Perfect. Thank you. There's a question from Sultan. Go ahead, Sultan.
Very well.
Yes, hello. Hello.
Hello?
Yes, you hear me? Okay. I have some experience in music, and I'm working with the healing, sound healing. But right now I'm starting with some electronics device. I don't know this way. It's lead me to the electronics device. And there is some ideas like if I make some collection of square wave and triangle waves and things like that, that will open some dimension to me. Is that clearly? Okay.
Tell me, how comfortable do you feel with this device?
Yeah, I'm feeling very well. I am very happy with this experience.
Then it will help you and be a great help to you. It is a healing sound. It does do what it is meant to do. So use it wisely and learn how to use it really effectively.
Okay. So also I'm working with a tuning forks, and I want to know if the tuning forks, if I record the tuning forks, it will give me a same result like acoustic healing, doing healing things.
What a tuning fork will do is bring everything into the same vibration. When you hear the vibration and that sound reverberates out, then it will bring everything that vibration touches into the same unity. And that way, if there are other people in the room or things that you need to work with, they will be all in the same unity and uniformity of vibration, so that you will be able to communicate in a greater way with them or whatever. So these vibrations that are sent out by the tuning fork are made for bringing things together, making things united, bringing the vibration all into one.
Uh-huh. Okay. Thank you for greetings.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else? Did I miss anyone for questions? Because I don't know if I did, but I think that was everyone.
Very well.
All right.
All right, then I shall go.
Okay, thank you very much for being here with us. We appreciate your presence.
Thank you. There may be someone else. I do not know.
All right. Thank you.
One moment, please. Greetings. There are those of us that live in subterranean areas below your earth.
Are you a Lemurian?
Yes.
Are you a priest?
Yes.
Great. Well, we have asked for a Lemurian priest from the inner earth. So Rivka has a question for you. Go ahead.
Greetings and thank you very much for coming in. Are there light chambers in the inner earth with your people?
Yes,
Is
there's a
that
lot
correct?
of changes. Yes. The
Okay,
changes
and
in the inner earth are very much like the changes that are happening on the outside of your planet here. We must prepare for the coming of many things. There are different things happening on your planet that are unconventional and unacceptable. So therefore, we have got to make changes as well, even here. Even though we are not in the same dimension as 3D, as you call it, but we have a different set of rules and regulations that we abide by. The thing is, when we do become part of this planet, or if we ever do become part of it, we must be able to fit in. We must be able to know that we are able to unify with you. And at this point, it does not look favorable, at least not at this time.
and thank you. And do you have light chambers in the inner earth?
Of course.
Healing chambers, yes.
Oh, of
And
course,
then-
yes.
And my question is, did I go there last night to Inner Earth Lemurians?
Many of you do. Yes, many of you do. You do not remember sometimes going there because it is not conventional for you to do so. However, you do manage to make it down there. Once you're in the astral, once you move away from doing the work you are doing in the astral, many of you come to the chambers to recharge yourselves.
Okay, thank you. And am I related to you?
You are not related to me personally, no.
But do I have family or Lemurian friends?
Yes, you do.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, thank you. Let me just see here. There's a question from Kate. Kate, please limit yourself to 1 to 2 questions because we're running out of time.
Yes,
So-
thank you. I will. I only have 2 questions this time. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there aspects of of ourselves, of our soul, living in inner earth? Like, I'm gonna spread this about, like the angels and the creator beings that are on earth at this time. Thank you.
There are some. Not all of you have decided to make residence in the inner earth. That's not something that would be of a great deal of benefit for mankind for the moment. So many of you are on the top of the soil and not below it. Because right now the missions, the light that needs to be held is on the surface.
Thank you very much. Are all different dimensions within the inner earth? Or what dimensions are in the inner earth?
Mostly just 4th and 5th.
And are there Yael aspects within the inner earth?
Yes.
Of the future and the past?
Just the future, usually.
And are they from 4th and 5th dimension as well?
Of course.
Thank you. Those are my questions from me. Thank you, and others. Thank you.
They're all, every form of, every species has some kind of representation here underneath, but not in great population, not in great amounts, but in trace amounts many places. And there is a reason for this. They must keep their light shining as well. They must make a way for their own people to come. They must make keep their people informed from the inner earth to the outer space. So therefore, there are many that are here that just have some trace populations so that they can keep everyone informed.
Thank you for that blessing of that information. I will let others. Thank you.
Hey, thank you. There's a question from JLo.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Excellent. Thank you for visiting us, the group I mean. My
Yes.
question relates to crystals. I have dreams about them every now and then, and particularly Mount Shasta. Today I will be visiting Mount Shasta. What can you say about Mount Shasta and Inner Earth? Thank you.
That is the home of the Telosians. It's also the home of the White Agarthans. It's also the home of a couple dragons, but they are not many. But let me tell you this. It is a place of great sanctity in some senses. You will know that Adama is there, and that there are those there that are telling the people and communicating with the people some very interesting things. But remember, the energies there will be strong.
Yes, thank you. I have felt that before. And I'm curious right now, this is my last question. Are you familiar with the area called Panther Meadows specifically? Because when I went there last time, it felt very, very peaceful. Thank you very much.
Yes, it's a peaceful area. There are times when the Agarthans and the Telosians do move outside of the inner earth for rituals and things of that nature. They are still in the fourth dimension, of course. So they cannot be seen by the naked eye to the third dimensional people that are there. But these places that you mentioned are places of great peacefulness because they are great places of sanctity for them.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, thank you. Julie, do you have a microphone?
Yes, I have.
Okay, please ask your questions.
Hi, greetings. I have a question. I dreamed about a couple days ago that I was driving backward, going back to Lemuria, going backwards. It's just kind of weird, but what does it mean?
It means that you'll go, that dream has to do with re-entering the Lemurian society at some point. And you've already been there at one point, and you will return to it at another point. This is something that many Lemurians dream about occasionally, because the Atlanteans, Lemurians, and those from that era will return to the places that will be restored on this planet, as well as the stargates and many of the other things that are going to happen that have not happened yet.
One more question. Do you know who am I in the past life of Lemuria?
You were a priestess.
Oh, thank you. That's it. Thank you.
There were many of you that were priestesses and governors and attorneys and judges and actually mermaids. Many of you were mermaids at that time as well, but are also guardian of the Lemurian crystal fields. And there was many of you that had important jobs that are back here at this particular time, because this is Ascension period, because this is a time of a great illumination, or a supposed illumination.
Thank you.
Thank you for that. Okay, thanks, Julie. Okay, David has a question.
Hi there.
Greetings.
So I'm wondering about any connections that I have to Lemuria and anything that may help me to be of service to others, any guidance, messages, or anything.
You were a guardian of the Lemurian crystal fields at one time. That was your one life in Atlantis at the far southern regions. So therefore, yes, there were very healing crystals in those fields as well, and you had access to many of those. And the guardians of the Lemurian crystal fields had risked their lives every day because those were very, very valuable. That was a very valuable area, and the crystals contained incredible amounts of information. And so that is something that they still do. But those crystal fields have been spread out over 7 planets now. So it is harder to find them. But they're spread out all over this world as well. So there are still crystals here from that era.
Wow. It's amazing.
Was there anything else, David?
I'm not sure. Nothing's coming.
Okay, because we have some more people with questions. So if we can continue, that would be great.
Yes. Thank
Okay.
you very, very much.
You're welcome.
Kathy, go ahead.
Greetings. Hello. I wanted to ask more about the Lemurian crystals. I've recently acquired a couple of Lemurian seed crystals. What is the best way that we can gather the information and use this information in our meditations or other ways?
When you gather or buy a Lemurian crystal, know that it has a lot of information in it. Crystals can hold 100 times more information than a computer, and that's why you have you had the crystals on the top of the pyramids, on the top of the Sphinx, in the monoliths around the areas, because they were used to contact one another. But you can use the information in these crystals. If someone knows how to read them, you can get that information out. But if you don't have someone that can read the crystals, you can still use the energy of the crystals for healing. You can use the energies of the crystals for meditation, for lucid dreaming, for many different things that it can help you do. Now, remember that if you put these Lemurian crystals near your head when you're sleeping, it actually can help you to remember dreaming better and have greater lucid dreaming.
Is there a way for us to learn how to read them? Or is that lost knowledge?
There is. When you become a channel, you can usually read the crystals as well.
Wonderful, wonderful. Do I have a past life in that is connected with you or Lemuria?
An Atlantean life that as a governor there.
Thank you. Thank
At
you.
least
Thank you for
one. I see that one. I think there's another one, but that's all I see for the moment.
Okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. All right. Is it time for me to go?
No, you've got just a few minutes, and Michelle hasn't asked a question. If she's still here, I want to let her ask.
Very well.
Are you still here, Michelle?
Oh, yes, I am. Thank you. Thank you,
Okay.
Karen. Greetings. I just have a couple of questions. How am I connected with you, and to do with healing, and was I a healer with you, with your people?
Yes. The Lemurians are great healers, and you were part of that healing groups. The healing priestesses were phenomenal. They could heal anything from anyone. and you were part of a small group of great healers that were very well known at the center of the continent, because that's where the healers were. Everyone had to come to the healers. The healers didn't go to anyone. So everyone if they needed healing, came to the center of the continent where the healers were. And it was like going to a hospital when you're here at this time and day and age. But that's where you went in Atlantis and Lemuria whenever you needed healing.
Could you tell me roughly how long ago that was?
Oh, many, many thousands of years ago. 20,000 maybe.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, wonderful. Thanks so much.
You're welcome.
Blessings.
I do not know the time about the time that was, but I know it was very long ago. It was just at the end of the Ice Age.
Okay, thank you. We do have time for one more question. It's from Alan. Go ahead, Alan. And then we'll check with Dawn and see if he has questions from the chat.
All right. Greetings, blessings. Would you agree that all of Lemuria would be coming together to help restore this planet to its purity?
All of Lemuria was coming together for what?
To restore this planet to its purity.
I believe that is one of the reasons why we are coming together, but only one of the many reasons. There are so many things that need done with this planet, and that is only one. To bring it together and purify it, to bring it into a greater unity. There are many things.
Yes, and I'm curious. Would you say that the time of people from the inner Earth integrating with Earth surface civilization, would you say that would happen before or after the contact with off-worlders?
That's a good question, because we are deciding that now. There is a possibility that we may come out first. So it is because in order to get things rolling and started, we may have to show ourselves first.
Okay, and the last question, it's just a bit, I realized that when I first had my spiritual awakening, I was most resonated and attracted to the information of inner Earth or Agartha, particularly, not so much extraterrestrial. So that leads me to believe that I have some strong, possibly one of my strongest connections to inner Earth. I'm wondering if you could give me a brief perspective on that. Thank you.
Yes, I can. I believe you do have, and you will be attracted to Mount Shasta, the Agarthans, and the Telosians. So those areas of the earth underneath that area, you are connected with them strongly.
Right, thank you. That's it for me. Thank you. Blessings.
Okay, thank you. Dawn, was there any questions in the chat?
Yes, I have one question.
Okay, go ahead.
This is from Krellick. And his question is, have the beings of the inner earth attempted to make open contact with the surface world?
Yes and no. They have made contact with the surface world, but they have not made it in a physical way. This is only communication. That is all. No one has seen a Telosian or anyone from inner earth yet. And if they have, it was very, very rare, but that will change in the future. But so far, only communication, only through channels and through that kind of mediums are they communicating, are we communicating.
Okay, and may I ask your name, please?
I'm Cora.
Thank you, Cora. Blessings.
Very well. I believe I am done. I will go now, and you will do your final closings. Goodbye for now. Hello?
Hello, welcome back.
Oh, hello.
Thank you for a very nice session.
All right, thanks. Oh,
Okay,
okay.
we will do some, before we go, why don't we have Angie do some announcements if she can, if she's still with us?
I'm still here. Thank
Good
you.
for you. Perfect. So please, if you can, do your thing, lady.
Thank you. We are going to continue to have our workshop at this time in person, but this year we are also offering it to the participants to participate online as well. And this is the first year that we're doing this. The workshop is from August 13th to the 17th. And if you want to contact workshop@hucolo.org and I can get information out to you. To participate for online, it is $50 a class, and there's going to be 6 classes. Jim?
That is it. And I think the in-person part is already filled.
That is correct.
So, all right, because we're only allowed to have so many people, so that part is full.
Okay, great. Okay, so we've got some closing blessings, I think, from the peoples that like to do those.
Okay, very good.
Okay, we'll start with Yana. Go ahead, Yana.
Okay, thank you. Tirana katana e hene he o ka anta hanta o a kanta taya urtua katana e. He no urtu uka anta hai ka hanta ta e nai ke ho e hai te te arte o ka hanta tana aka. Ai te te o ka a.
Let the light encompass your planet and bring union, blessings, love, and honor to all. May you all survive and bring about a great time of celebration and unity for all of the galaxy. For we are all with you and are all praying for your success.
Thank you very much. And Kathy is next.
Ashani taruso larimaro kotoro shariano, shantinoro seru, turo atari barusha. Latari aru antoro seru, ashoro aru ino, makase toro hakoro toro shashari tokoshiano. Atoro meiro soroso taru, mantane ashearu, latane la loro sikoro sidu, isharu usha. Pore noshe sipuro demo, shorari sharoda, asho aktora tharush, majimako. Antane pare usa. Hathor matare iporo sharu ator bachum. Shalom adoshi atari lero ishar marosh.
If you are sad or feeling lonely, or if you are just down, let us be a comfort to you. Be a comfort to one another and bring yourselves together. Let unconditional love wrap around each and every one of you and bring you up into a light that is away from the darkness that you feel right now. There are times when we all get low. There are times when we all falter. There are even times when we fail. But that does not mean that we have to stay in that condition. It does not mean that we have to stay in our darkness. Bring yourself to one another so that you can engulf each other in light, that you can bring each other hope, that you can love each other unconditionally and bring unity to this planet.
Thank you. And Dawn, who is our very lovely YouTube monitor, thank you for your work, Dawn. You're going to do the last blessing.
Thank you, Karen. Ratoshna snahuaiseka shutora, she aura, the raushna astayo to yosama, the aura kasheto, yatatayanto, siatia koisa, tina posonda, siakur neak dorach, chise ando santais.
There is a light that never goes out, and we are all sparks that join in with that light. We make the light brighter every day. We make it stand and make it eternal. And so therefore, as part of that light, we will reach out and bring other sparks to us. Let it be known that the world is going to unite and that the world will fall into a place of love and unity.
Thank you. All right, so we will see everybody next week. We will have, I believe, if I'm not incorrect, you'll have to tell me, Deb and Rick will be here next week, I think. If not, be warned, you're going to be here next week. And then you'll be back in 2 weeks with Will.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yes, I'll be back in 2 weeks with Will.
Perfect. All right.
Will Mitchell.
Will Mitchell
Okay.
for the 8-8 Lionsgate portal.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Very good.
Thank
I'm
you.
not
Much
sure if
love
he's
to
gonna
everyone.
here
Be sure
or-
to like them, subscribe. If you wonder how to get in the room on Jim's webinars, it's because everyone in the room is a Hucolo Club member, and you can become a Hucolo Club member on the website, hucolo.org/webinars. And for $10 a month, you have access to the room twice a month with Jim, and then of course all the other webinars. So, and first
Okay,
news
good.
on classes and all that kind of good stuff. So much love, everyone. Deb, am I correct on you next week?
Yes, we'll be here.
Yay!
Excellent.
For me, time is just not a fluid thing. I'm not sure.
It's been the same for me.
Yeah. So everyone, I don't know if anyone's struggling with time during all of this COVID, but we're learning how fluid time really is. So
Really, exactly.
try to make a schedule for yourself. I have yet to
Right.
succeed in that. All right. Much,
Much
love,
love,
everyone.
everybody. Thank you.
Thank
Be
you.
well.
Next week.
Bye.
Bye. Like and
Thank
subscribe.
you.
Bye.
Thank you, Karen. Thank you,
Thank
Dawn.
you.
I appreciate it.